My yoga journey started probably in 1985 in a Hare Krishna restaurant in Soho, London, when I was a flight attendant. Seemed like a good idea at the time, but not a great idea, tough work. But I discovered the law of karma. And I always knew that I wanted to do yoga, and they say when the student's ready, the teacher appears. And I was fortunate to find a tough, but ultimately, I was so grateful for this teacher. He was a disciple of Swami Shivananda, so I'm more classically trained than perhaps some yoga teachers today. I'm a little bit fluent in Sanskrit, but basically I teach yoga and I practice yoga to keep my body and my mind in good shape so that I can navigate, negotiate all of the twists and turns and stuff that's going on in life. And I was thinking this morning, you know, a lot of us have seen unbelievable changes in our lifetime. Some of us grew up with a TV set that had 7 channels. I mean, come on. Yeah, well, yeah. So and of course, we're about to see some major changes happening. And in spite of all that, can we remain grounded? Can we remain faithful? And this is the thing. So when we talk about feet, and actually, if you wish, you can sit up or you can lie down, whatever you prefer. But, and is this Gwyn? Hi, Gwyn. I put out a mat here. And our feet, of course, represent being grounded, feeling stable, feeling connected. And so today we're talking about our feet, but in a world where you cannot control, where there is no certainty, and impermanence is all around us. Anything can change in a heartbeat. That this is where having some type of faith, whether it's spiritual, religious, both, in fact, just before the Christmas break, I did recommend a book called Autobiography of a Yogi. I still recommend that, hands down, as being a book that will give you a very deep understanding of the potential and the possibility of what this 5,000-year-old science can illuminate for us, can perhaps inspire. And please don't ever feel that it's a must or a demand or a should. It's not. It's when you are ready. When you are ready to start reading about philosophy. Philosophy is the love of wisdom. It's trying to understand, make sense of, or at least be able to walk your path with some equanimity, some amount of acceptance and calm. And that's not always, obviously we all know that's not easy. So I just, I know I could go on and on about this, but I think this stuff is really important right now because I know a lot of people are feeling fearful. I don't know, have your fear for a while and then say, all right, I've had enough of that. It's time to let that go and go about and do the best I can every single day, be the kind person that your pet thinks you are, and and just have faith that everything is unfolding as it should, and that we agreed to be on this planet at this time. With those few words, if you are not already lying down, I invite you to lie down and close your eyes. And just connect with your breath, okay? It takes a lot sometimes to arrive, just to get here. So with your eyes closed, and sometimes, putting your tongue on the roof of your mouth automatically helps you release tension in your jaw. You can try these things. Everything that I'm going to say to you is a suggestion. As I said, this is your practice, so please do what it is that you feel can help you let go of everything outside of this room Let go of all of the thoughts that travel, rumble, circulate throughout our minds, and just focus for a moment on your breath. Noticing warm air entering through your nostrils. Unless you're plugged, please breathe in through your nostrils. And then if you choose, you can exhale either through the nostrils or through the mouth. Often we exhale through our mouth because we've got a lot more to let go of. So until you feel you've really let go and you're just in that state of being, sometimes placing our left hand on our chest and our right hand on our belly helps to focus our breathing, helps us go inwards. Life is always calling us out, something to do, something that we need to take care of, somebody we need to be responsible to or for, whether it's a job, a friend, or a family member. This time is for you. So just allow your breath to find a peaceful rhythm. Just a couple more breaths. And then while you're lying, let's flex our feet so that your toes are becoming closer to your shins. This is dorsiflexion. So just a little bit, so just, do this and then maybe point them. Because we shove our feet, cram them into shoes and boots, sometimes our feet become a little stiff and tight. Plantar fasciitis is something that some of us have experienced. It's very painful. When we dorsiflex or flex our foot, we not only stretch the sole of the foot, the plantar fascia, but we also start to stretch the Achilles tendon, the calf muscles, the gastrocnemius, the soleus, and the back of the knee. Because everything's connected. We can't just isolate one thing and say, well, we've stretched that. Everything's connected. If your calf muscles are tight, probably your Achilles tendon is tight. And I've known a number of people who tore their Achilles tendon. There's nothing you can do except wait for it to heal on its own. So yoga is really an act of prevention. And then inhale and stretch your arms over behind your heads, reaching and stretching. And then point your toes, flex them again, and point. And then inhale, sweep your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, and bring your arms down by your side. And then inhale, bring one knee at a time up into your chest. And hold on to your shins, both knees, bring both knees. And a little bit of rocking from side to side. Both knees are coming up. And hang on to them and maybe even make circles. So you're just checking in with your lower back here. Enlivening and awakening. Bringing extra blood supply to an area that, from either sitting a lot, poor posture, or just not even moving at all, especially after we've been asleep all night, hopefully asleep all night. Okay, and then release your left leg straight down in front. Keep your right knee into your chest. And with your left hand on the outside of your right knee, draw it across your body. And take care with your right arm out to the side, placing it in whatever position feels comfortable, and then breathing into that hip and thigh, just warming up the spine. And I know a few of you have asked for attention for the core, which you can't do a yoga class without the core, but we're going to get into that a little bit today before we focus on our feet. And bring that knee back over into the center, and then draw the other knee up. And extend your right leg down in front, and with your right hand on the outside of your left knee, draw it across your body. Now, as if you were tuning a fine instrument, never too tight, don't go do too much, and then blame me or yoga for hurting yourself. We always need to practice with awareness, respect, and compassion. It's cold out there, doesn't exactly loosen the muscles. In fact, does just the opposite. Inhale, come back to center, draw the other knee up, and then keep the knees bent, but place both feet on the outer edges of your mat. Take your arms out to the side, shoulder height, pressing the lower back, small of the back into the floor, inhaling in place. Exhale, drop both knees over to the left, and perhaps gently turn your head to the right and breathe. And inhaling, come back to the center. Exhaling, drop both knees over to the left. Over to the right, other side, and gently turn your head to the opposite side. Inhale, back to center. One more time, over to the left. Gently turn your head to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, both knees over to the right, gently turning your head to the left. Coming back into the center, we're going to come over onto all fours. You can either roll over onto your side using your top arm, or place your hands behind the backs of your knees and rock up to a seated position. Okay, so we're starting in tabletop position. So your hands are underneath your shoulders. Your middle finger should point forward. Your fingers are spread out. Your knees should be underneath your hips. Lengthening through your torso, so don't try to shorten up on this posture. Keep your spine nice and long. This is where if you have a knee pad, you may want to put that under your knees if you're feeling any stress on your knees. Or if you don't have a knee pad, there are some more on the table. You can always fold your mat over and double it over. Alrighty. On an exhale, curl your toes under and lift your spine up. Pull your bellies in, tuck your chin, and drop your tail. On an inhale, flatten the tops of your feet, hollow out your lower back, draw your heart center forward, lifting your head. Eyes can go up towards your third eye. Exhale, curl your toes under, coming into cat pose. Engage your core here. Pull your belly in towards your spine and bring your chin towards the center of your chest. Exhale, round your spine, hollow out your lower back, lifting tail, bringing your heart center forward. And last time, exhale. Cat. Engage your core, pull your bellies in. And inhale, flatten the tops of your feet. You're pressing into all your fingers. Coming back to neutral. Alrighty, bird dog. It is now. If you think about a banana, some people will hold this and really just use their leg to lift up, just use their leg muscles or hips to lift up their leg. I want you to engage your core here. I want you to engage your glutes and your hamstrings, all right? So, no banana. It would be a banana if you just lifted your leg up and just used your hip muscles. You're going to use your core. Feel your glutes. You can curl your back toes under if that feels good, or flatten it, whatever you like, and then take the opposite arm straight out in front. Remember, your neck is part of your spine. So, balance. A lot of balancing postures in yoga. Some of them are easier than others. You're definitely balancing. And release both knee and hand down. Inhale, opposite leg. Feel your glutes, feel your hamstrings, the backs of your thighs activated, not just your hip muscles. And then bring the opposite arm straight out in front. And breathe. So this is core strengthening. It's balance. For balance, proprioceptor muscles are activated. These little muscles exist in your joints, your muscles, and your tendons. And they figure out how you're moving in space. They're all being activated. And releasing. Take your knees as wide apart as you can. Big toes touch. Flatten the tops of your feet. Slowly. Some people can get foot cramps in this position, so take your time. I don't anymore, but I used to all the time get a foot cramp. Taking your hips back towards your heels. And then release your torso between your thighs. If it's accessible, release your forehead onto your mat. If it's not, you can either fold your forearms one on top of the other or stack your fists. Breathe into your side and back ribs. That's where 60% of the breathing takes place. We're pretty focused on the front of our body, but there's lots that happens throughout the back of the body, and the breath is one of those. That's, of course, when we breathe deep. Some people breathe shallow. All that moves is their chest, and that decreases the amount of energy they have. And then inhale, come on back up. Draw your knees in towards one another. We're going to come up into a downward dog, so curl your toes under. Remember, your middle finger points forward and your fingers are spread wide apart. Inhale, lift your hips, keep your knees soft. Let your torso hang between your arms so that your ears are inside your arms. We're going to straighten one leg and bend the other. So we're just going to gently and slowly walk the dog. So one leg is straight. On the leg that's straight, feel the stretch through the back of your knee, your calves, and your Achilles tendon. And then change to the other leg. You might notice a difference from one side to the other. It is not important that your heel touches the floor at any point in downward dog. You just want to feel a good, healthy stretch. Your breath is important as you practice. Let's change again. Give your head a little bit of a shake too. We don't want to be putting any stress in our neck here. So let the weight of your head stretch out your cervical neck vertebra. And one more time, changing. Give your head a shake. And then walk your feet towards your hands. Have a look at your toes. Have a look at your feet. This is a good time because when we start talking about our feet in Tadasana, the outsides of your feet should be parallel to the outsides of your mat. for good alignment, stability, groundedness, feeling connected. All right, keep your knees soft. Feel your belly, maybe your diaphragm on your bent thighs, and then let your arms hang and let your head hang. It gets a little extra blood every time your head is below your heart, because normally it's not unless we invert, and this would be considered a mild inversion. You get a little more blood supply to your head. And then really firmly pressing the soles of your feet into the floor, keeping your neck relaxed and your shoulders. You're going to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. And you're going to let your head be the last thing to come up. Inhale, bring your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, push them back, and then pull your armpits down and give your legs a shake out. Okay, so Tadasana. This is the basis of all standing postures, and this is where I really want you to notice your feet. Went to the art gallery the other day, and it's funny. I'll stand like this for about 2 seconds, and all of a sudden it's like, that doesn't feel as grounded and solid as me having my feet pointing forward. Why? It's called alignment. The body was designed a certain way. Now, I used to say that we should have 1 fist width between our feet. However, I said that because it was little tiny skinny Indian guys who founded and started this thing called Hatha Yoga. Well, a lot of us women have wider pelvises, wider hips. So what I want to invite you is to still maintain the outsides of your feet to be parallel to the outsides of your mat. That part's important. So here's the thing. If your feet are closer together, you're going to activate your inner thighs and you're going to activate more of your core. If your feet are a little further apart, you actually feel more stable and you start activating more of your hip muscles and outer leg. So it's for you to discover what is going to work best for you. I still like my sort of fist width apart. Then my ankles, my knees, and these ACEs joints, your anterior superior, these hip bones in the front, are feeling aligned. Okay, lift your toes off the floor and close your eyes. You should be able to feel your big toe mount, your baby toe mount, and the center of your heel. Now, some people, again, will teach, and maybe this was a better cue for you, the outer edges of your heel. I like the idea of the triangle, of the pyramid for the center front of my heel, big toe mount, baby toe mount. With your toes off the floor, you can feel all of these. Now, if we, just hang on here, pronate, supinate, Philip, you know, oh, come on. I want to get this right. So if you're not feeling your baby toe mount, it could be because your arches are fallen, which means your knees collapse and your thighs are closer. Now, I'm more of a, I think, supinator, and I think that's, so I'm more rolled out. But just again, check in, because this is so important to the foundation of any standing postures, is that you feel really rooted and grounded through these 3 or 4 points. So you can lay your toes down. If you want to grip the mat with your toes, go for it. That again works some of the muscles in your toes, but I like giving our toes a bit of a vacay. Okay, so in Tadasana, you lift your kneecaps up to engage your thighs. As that occurs, you may feel a little shift in the pelvis where your pelvic bowl is not spilling forwards or backwards. And then lift your sternum away from your pelvic floor. Feet, outsides of your feet, Janet, parallel to the outsides of your mat. Have a look at the outsides of your feet. This is like really important. You're the outsides of your feet, parallel. And then let your chin float horizontal, parallel to the floor. Eyes can be opened or closed. And then feel like there might even be a little string or a butterfly pulling at some of your hairs on the top of your head. So you're lifting up. You're not sinking into your hips. You're not sinking into your shoulders or your chest. You're actually expanding. And then turn your palms slightly forward. So this rotates your upper arm bone, your humerus bone. And then you can relax your hands. And already you're taller, you're slimmer, and the energy can flow. So we're going to do our half sun salutations. So your feet don't move in this exercise. You're going to inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, turn the palms out, bend your knees a lot, drop your hips, release your torso onto your thighs, tense your fingers on the floor, just in front of your feet and outside of them, and then lift your hips up and let the crown of your head sink towards the floor. Feeling the stretch in the backs of your legs. Exhale, bend your knees, drop your hips, shoulders back. Inhale, as you begin to come up, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale, turn the palms outwards, floating your arms down, taking up lots of space. Inhale, turn the palms out, exhale. Fingertips tented on the floor. Inhale, lift your hips. Perhaps you can feel your belly. Try to keep your belly glued to your thighs. Give your head a little swing so you know you're not holding. Exhale, bend your knees and drop your hips, shoulders back. Inhale, feel the power of your thighs as you come back up. Exhale, float the arms down, taking up lots of space. Try to synchronize the movement with your breath. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees a lot, drop your hips, fingertips touch. Inhale, let your head hang. Exhale, bend your knees, shoulders back. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, float the arms down. And last time, inhale. Turn the palms out, exhale, bend your knees, drop your hips, fingers tented. Inhale, let the crown of your head sink down. Give your head a little shake, little turn. Exhale, bend your knees, and inhale, sweep the arms out to the sky. Exhale, hands in prayer, and bring them to your heart center. Give your legs a little shake out. This time you're going to bring your feet a little bit closer together, but still the outsides of your legs are parallel to the outsides of your mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, interlace your fingers. You can leave your pointers released and straight. So inhale in place. Let's exhale over towards the left. Keep the length in your torso, so there's more reaching and stretching than there is bending to the side. And then lower your left arm down and look down at your left baby toe. Inhale, sweep that left arm up, coming back up to center. Exhale, bend to the right side. Keep your shoulders one stacked on top of the other. Don't let your body twist here. Maintain the alignment, then release your right hand. Look down at your right toe. Inhale, sweep that arm up. And then let your arms fall back. Let your head fall back. Inhale, straighten up. Exhale, let's swan dive. Forward fold. Drop your heads. Inhale, come halfway up. Ardha Uttanasana. Again, feel your core. It will be working in Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Now, bend your knees, sink your butt We're coming up into chair pose or horseman's pose. Keep your knees bent, sweep your arms in front. Transfer most of the weight into the back of your foot, but you can still feel your big toe mount and your baby toe mount connecting. Inhale, up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Let your heads hang. Inhale, come halfway up. Place your hands on your shins, or if you have particularly long arms, maybe your fingertips are still on your mat. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to do Utkatasana one more time. So bend your knees, sink your hips, sweep your arms in front. Sink your hips as much as you can. Have a look down that your toes are in front of your knees. You don't want your knees in front of your toes. Toes should be in front of your knees. Sinking as much as you can, transferring the weight into your back of your foot, more in your heel. Exhale, forward fold, let your head hang. And then slowly roll up, one vertebra at a time, keeping your chin tucked into your chest. And give your legs a good shake out. Take a sip of water whenever you need to. So again, when it comes to foot position, really bring your focus. Now, is it getting too hot in here, everyone? Because tech guy will turn heat down a bit, but we're all good. Nobody's naked yet. Okay, come on up to the fronts of your mats. Are we good? Yes. Okay. Because tech guy's looking at it, but I think we're good. Okay. Step your right foot back one leg length. Now, for warrior 2, you're going to have your heel create a straight line through the arch of your back foot. So make sure you get this just right. Your front foot's going to be 90 degrees forward, your back foot about 60. So your toes are pointing towards the front. So lift up on the ball and get your heel a little bit further back. And then lift up at your sternum. Now bend your front knee. Now the torso doesn't really go with it, but if you bend your front knee, unless it doesn't angle, look down and see your big toe inside of your knee so your knee is tracking over your middle toes. This is really important for alignment. You also don't want your knee to go further than your ankle. Regarding your back foot, again, you're going to feel your big toe mount and your baby toe mount and your heel, but you're going to press into the outside of that back foot. This does a couple of things. This lifts your arches. If your arches collapse, as I mentioned, your knees start to collapse in and so do your thighs, and then that's the beginning of perhaps pain and problems. Inhale, sweep the arms up to shoulder height. Exhale, just lower your shoulders as if you're relaxing into this posture. So the shoulders are not up like this. They're relaxed and down. Your neck is long. You might want to check the arm behind you. Most of you guys look really great here. That your back arm is level and your fingers are all very active. So again, this is a bit of a balance pose. How grounded and stable do you feel in your posture? When your feet are positioned and aligned, you should feel pretty stable. Lower your back arm, down your back leg, reach that top arm up, and let the energy surge up. You might even look up, peaceful, exalted warriors. Inhale, back to warrior 2. Straighten your front leg. So both legs are going to be straight now. Reach forward. Just reach forward. Don't reach down. Keep your front leg straight. And then let that front arm just fall organically inside of your front leg. Reach that top arm up. So again, you want to stack your shoulders. Stack your shoulders. So reaching your top arm, whatever amount you can, if you can straighten that front leg, without locking the knee. And lower the arm down. And bring your legs together. We're going to do Trikonasana again, but I'm just going to show you, you may want to put your block at the front of your mat. So the transition to Ardha Chandrasana, crescent moon, and I won't be using a block, is to bend the front knee, transfer your weight onto your front leg, and then let your front fingertips touch the floor. And if you really want to go for it, you lift your bottom hand off the floor. But that's for people who really feel balanced. And some days balance is hard. You never know. But let's pay attention to getting our feet just right before we even attempt to do this. So again, your left leg is front, 90 degrees forward. Back foot, about 60 degrees. Lift up at your sternum. Inhale, sweep the arms, shoulder height. Exhale, you're reaching into Trikonasana, because this is where we transition. And then keep your gaze down at the floor. Bend your front knee. Transfer your weight onto your front leg. Take your time, there's no hurry. Place your fingertips either on the floor, lifting your back leg up. Keep your focus on the floor. As I said, if you want to lift your hand that's on the floor off and just balance on your feet, you'll notice your proprioceptor muscles. Now, there's 26 bones in your feet, 33. Let's step back and bring your legs together. 33 joints, over 100 muscles, ligaments, and tendons. And the proprioceptors are all very active. Okay, so let's, right foot. Come up to the front of the mats again. And step your left leg back. Opposite. Again, so your right foot's 90 degrees forward, your back foot, and you should have about a leg length or so between your feet. Your back foot's pointing slightly forward. Lift up at your sternum. So make sure your heel of your front foot is creating a straight line through the arch of your back foot. Straight with regard to the outer edges of your mat. Bend your front knee. Keep your torso straight up and down. Now, even in this position, all of your weight is not on your front leg. It should be evenly distributed between both feet. Again, you're pressing into the outside of that back foot, and your front foot, you're making sure your knee is tracking over your middle toes. Inhale, sweep the arms up to shoulder height. Have a look at your arm behind you. Is it level with your shoulders? And then exhale. Fix your gaze over your middle fingertips. Now, you can even take your toes off the floor here, and then you really feel the connection, and lay them back down again, of the big toe mount, the baby toe mount, center front of heel. This isn't just for yoga. This is for when you're just standing in your kitchen. You know, the 1 hour that we practice here, I'm hoping you take off the mat. Lower your back arm, down your back leg, reach with your top arm up, stretching, exalted, peaceful, if not happy warriors. I like to say I'm not a worrier, I'm a warrior, but a peaceful one, a happy one. This is how we become exalted warriors. And bring your arms back to warrior two, and then straighten that front leg. Okay, feel your thighs engaged here, and feel really rooted and grounded through the soles of your feet. Now reach forward. Then you can't reach any further. Straighten your front leg, Florence. Straighten your front leg. Straighten it, yeah. Okay, and then lower your front arm just inside. Reach that top arm up. Now, if possible, both palms could be facing towards the side of your mat, the direction of your nose, your face. You got it, Patty. So you're reaching up with that top arm. Now, of course, if you have shoulder issues, you're being very mindful, compassionate, respectful of where you're at today. Alrighty, lower that top arm onto your hip. You know where we're going here now. You're gonna bend that front knee, transfer your weight onto your front leg. Please take your time, there's no hurry. Tense your fingers on the floor and lift your back leg up. Now you may even want to keep your top arm just on your hip and feel how that hip and glute are working together to hold your leg up, and then reach that top arm up if you feel inclined. And again, if you feel inclined, you may lift that bottom hand off the floor or not. And step that leg back. Come back into Trikonasana, Warrior Two, and give your legs a good shake out and flat out for a moment on your backs. Take a sip of water if you like. We're not winding down the class yet, but Shavasana allows your body to absorb the benefits of what you have just done. So it's kind of like rushing through a meal and washing it down with a good wine. Well, it doesn't really work that well for your enjoyment. In this case, this is for your body to integrate, to receive the benefits. Now, if you can, turn your palms up in an open and receiving position. We spend a lot of our time in forward flexion, if not hunched, rolled over with our shoulders, looking at our screens, tapping away or pecking away. So just by the simple act of turning your palms upwards in an open and receiving position, you counteract the forward flexion. I also like the idea, if you go for walks once in a while, to put your arms behind your back, do the Groucho Marx thing, if you remember who he was. And again, your eyes are closed. This helps you go in. This helps to bring your energy back inside. And in a world, whether it's social media or news that can be disturbing and upsetting, we have a place, a sanctuary inside of us where we can unplug and disconnect. And sometimes it's just taking Shavasana, letting go, and going in. Between the two, physical health and mental health, it's our mental health that can be the most disturbing and throw us off balance more so than the physical. But there's no doubt, if we get a cold or the flu or twist our ankle or something, yeah, that pulls us outwards. But remember, even then, there is a sanctuary within to strengthen us and to allow our amazing bodies to do what they know how to do best, which is heal, to find equilibrium. Okay, So once again, if you wish to, you can either roll over onto your sides or draw your knees into your chest, place your hands under the backs of your knees and rock up. Everybody has something they can sit on for a moment. We're going to do something with our hands, but then while we're doing that, I'm going to talk about something else, is to interlace your fingers. So you're going to take an opposite hand to your foot, and you're going to interlace your fingers between your toes. So come from underneath, right? Underneath, take those fingers in between your toes. So you see how I've taken my fingers between my toes? How about using the other hand, opposite hand, and bring your fingers in between your toes? See? Can you see? Yeah. So now, if that can be pretty painful for a lot of people. If it's not, and you want to shove your entire finger through, now, so this is where I want to talk about these puppies. You know, sometimes our feet get a little gnarly, and Toronto Life last month, if anybody gets it, with the hockey girls on the cover, they've got some in here, and if you want to take a picture of it afterwards, I think they might be a little better than these, but they're pricey. They're $85. However, if your feet aren't happy, you won't be happy. So I do like these. I did order them online. Of course, I think it was before COVID. Anyway, so this just kind of stretches your toes out because our toes are being held and scrunched and cramped, depending on what footwear we're wearing. And you're looking at somebody that wears some pretty gnarly footwear from time to time, as some of you know. And then I'm very kind to my feet. Okay, let's try the other side. And then we're going to do some more balancing and little exercises. So balancing requires 3 things. The vestibular system, which is the fluid that flows through the canals in your ears, and then your vision and your muscles all work together to help us balance. We don't even think about it until we fall down. And then we notice we might have been a little out of balance. But, you know, and this is another point I want to make, as we age, you know, it's a use it or lose it thing. But I don't want any of you to focus on your chronological age, even if it's your birthday tomorrow. I don't. I get older apparently every year, but I don't feel any older. I don't act any older, which to some people's chagrin. And I know a few of you in this room don't act any older either, in spite of the calendar. So think about your biological age, and that's what we're working on in this class, is really the biological age. That's your tissues, that's your organs, that's your glands. When they're tip-top magoo, tickety-boo, what age does it? Doesn't matter what your chronological age is, does it? No. It's all up here. Okay, that's enough. Anyway, so that's the tip. And then I had these balls here, and maybe after class, if you feel like rolling them, but because this, you know, I've had plantar fasciitis. I'm not even sure why, but it's very painful if anybody's had it. So let's come up to standing. We're going to do an exercise called gaze stabilization. And here's the deal. You're going to start at the back of your mat, and then we're going to do a couple of balance postures and see if we can really nail this. So starting at the back of your mat, you're going to take with your right foot, and you're going to look to the right. And then you're going to step with your left foot, and you're going to look to the left. And don't be in a hurry, because you'll run out of runway. So this is the easy part. This is just sort of getting used to something. Shh. But again, you can feel when you slow down how you have to balance here. Now, anybody ever seen a whirling dervish? And you wonder, well, I'll tell you what, this is what they do. They look at their thumbs. All right, they've got one hand up to connect to the divine, and then they're looking, and I'm not going to ask you to whirl. That's not the point. Don't you worry. But starting at the back of your mat again, what I want you to do, it doesn't matter your right arm or your left arm, it doesn't matter. But you're going to hold your arm in front about shoulder height, and you're going to look at your thumbnail. Now, we're going to make this even a little bit tougher. You're going to do heel toe. So you're going to bring your right foot in front of your left, And you're going to look over to the right, but you're going to keep your eyes on your thumbnail, okay? And then you're going to take another step, and you're going to turn your head to the left. Now, if it's too hard with putting heel to toe, then just switch it up and do it the way we did it. But turn your head when your right foot goes right, your head goes to the right, but your eyes stay on your thumbnail. And what this is doing is, this is coordinating your brain with your eyes and your muscles. Because we need all of these to be working. So taking your time, gaze stabilization, you're turning your head to the direction of the front foot, but you're keeping your eyes on your thumbnail. And you're using your proprioceptor muscles, and you're bringing the brain, the vision, and your muscles, and connecting them. And it's, you know, are you going to be walking a tightrope later with Cirque du Soleil? I don't think so. But, you know, if we want to improve, this is a way of getting your brain, your eyes, and your muscles to work in concert. Okay. So again, give your legs a little shake out. Now we're ready. Tree pose. Vrikshasana. And again, you're going to wait for your own inner cue for balance, everybody. And there are options here. You can even put your block under your foot if you want. So let's start on our right leg. I'll do the mirror. And you're going to come up onto the ball of your left foot, and you're going to turn the knee outwards. Okay? Now, that foot that's flat on the floor, lift your toes off the floor, feel your big toe mount, your baby toe mount, center front of your heel. All right? Really get this just right. And then something else that, what we were just doing, in yoga we call it drishti, where you soften your gaze. So you were staring at your thumbnail, but your gaze was soft focus for everything else around you. So this is why in meditation we either close our eyes or we just almost close them and we see very little. All right? So you are going to find a spot on the floor, 8 or 9 feet in front of you. It doesn't move, so don't look at me. Now, when we bring our foot up, please don't press on your knee. Okay? Please don't. I see so many pictures of it. You can either keep your toes on the floor. You can bring the side of your foot onto your calf. And I did bring my sticky socks today, but I don't have them on, Sharon. Or you can bring your heel up into your groin. And again, if you have slippery pants on or the soles of your feet are slippery, then you need to hold on to your foot. You take whatever version of this posture that works for you. And then if you have 1 branch or 2 branch, if your foot is inside of your thigh, press your thigh into your foot, press your foot into your thigh. But you need to feel rooted and grounded. And release. Good work, everyone. So give that standing leg a shake out. Breathe. And when you're ready, try the other side. Somebody on CBC radio yesterday on The Current sounded like me, where they're outside looking at stuff going, wow. So, and the reason I say this is because this time of year, trees, you can see their structure. They're impossibly interesting and unique. Very nice, everybody. And release. Give your legs a good shake out. Great work. Okay, let's take our goddess pose. And this is going to be a final stretch. We started a couple minutes. We'll just be going a couple minutes over, so hopefully you don't have somewhere you have to run off to right away. All right, so in goddess pose, again, you want to feel the soles of your feet rooted and grounded, and you want your knees tracking over your toes. So try to sort out the angle of your feet to work with your knees tracking over your toes, and then sink your butts. Sink your butts. And inhale, arms up into cactus, or what we call goddess pose. Opening up the front of your body. Let's come up, lifting left heel off floor, so you're coming up onto the ball of the foot. Exhale, down. Other one up and down. Again, left heel up, down, right heel up, down, left and right, both. And back down. Inhale, come on all the way up. Great. Okay, if you're not already, please turn sideways on your mats, any direction you wish. Sideways on your mat, yep. Inhale, arms up to shoulder height. Exhale, forward fold, just halfway. Tabletop your spine, tent your fingers on the floor beneath your face. Inhale, sweep your left arm up, reaching, stretching, looking up. Exhale, float it down. Inhale, sweep the other arm up, reaching up, stretching up. Exhale, float it down. Be mindful now, if you have knee issues, you're going to lunge over to the left, bringing your bum as close to your heel as possible, stretching out your inner thigh, adductor muscles. Inhaling up to the center, exhaling, other side. Inhaling into the center, walk your feet in towards one another. Take a sip if you like, and then bring your body down into Shavasana, flat out and relaxing. Did everyone get an eye pillow? If they did, you can place this, and if you didn't, I'm happy to bring one around. Did you get one, Patty? You're good? Okay, anybody want an eye pillow that didn't get one? All right. If you need to, put some clothing on to keep yourself warm. Palms are facing up in the open and receiving position. Palms facing up, flat on the floor. Have your arms far enough away from your body that you fully can let your shoulders, of course, along with your shoulder blades, connect with the mat. Let your feet splay out. Separate the biting surfaces of the teeth. Relax the jaw. Let your bodies be soft and heavy. So when it comes to feeling balanced, grounded, having equanimity, there are a few things that we can do, take into consideration, because when our minds are steady and calm, our bodies are a reflection of that. So we need to really pay attention to the messages and the information that we're taking in, whether it's social media or the news, or even people we know who like to talk about the negative. and notice whether or not these things make us less stable. We can also take into consideration how much balance we have in our lives in terms of the amount of time we carve out for ourselves, juxtaposed against all of the other demands of the people and responsibilities that we have in our life. And when it comes to that me time, we should be loving and respectful enough and know that we deserve time for us, whether it's playing a musical instrument, whether it's reading a philosopher, or if it's just spending time in nature, even taking a bath for as long as you like. These are some of the things we can do to achieve that sense of calm, stability, and weave security into our personal worlds in spite of what may be swirling around us. And again, there's so much inspiration. I love the Rudyard Kipling poem, if you've not read it, when all of the people around you are losing their heads. Remembering to be yogic off your mats. Knowing that yoga is a tool. And that when you learn and deepen your practice, you'll have a bigger toolbox to go to when you're in need. Noticing the warm air entering through your nostrils. We breathe through our noses, inhaling to purify. The air that enters into our lungs. Exhaling waste, carbon dioxide and impurities. Inhaling the life force, long, full, and deep, right down to your bellies. And deep, full, exhaling. Inhaling very, very deep. And deep, exhaling. Inhale, stretch the arms over behind your heads, reach and stretch, point feet far, flex your feet, point your feet, and bring your arms back down by your sides. Take a moment to roll over onto your side, bending your knees, perhaps using your bottom arm as a pillow. Take a moment to acknowledge yourself for showing up on a cold morning to take care of your most valuable asset, your body. And then when you're ready, using your top arm to press yourself back up into a seated position. And if you wish, please join me in chanting the universal singular mantra Om, just one time. Inhaling together. Om. Wishing you a balanced and peaceful day. Namaste.